Let's look at all of the amazing things you can do with the heat foil tool from Silhouette. Today I'm using the Portrait 4 to heat foil on some stickers. This is the first time I've tried it out. It is amazing. You're going to want to try it. But I also wanted to go over some other things with you first. You can heat foil with the Cameo 5. You can heat foil with the Curio 2. I find it amazing that it can be done on the Portrait 4 though, because they typically limit the Portrait 4 quite a bit with the extra tools that can be used because it only has the one carriage. You may have caught my videos in the past about heat foiling on different materials, and it is so very versatile. I have heat foiled on painted wood. This one's just got a decorative squirrel on it. This one says Some Bunny Special. These I got from the Dollar Tree, and they go through the Portrait 4 without a problem. They're pretty thin. Now this wood blank I made a keychain out of. I sent the wood through the X-Tool M1 to cut the shape out, and then I used the same shape in Silhouette Studio to cut a template on some cardstock so that I could place the blank in exactly the right spot so that I knew the foil would be done in the right location. Now, next up we have heat foiling on acrylic blanks. This was an amazingly fun project. I've done some Christmas ornaments as well. These turn out fabulous. I always put a little bit of colored vinyl on the back for a little pop, but these are super cute. Of course, you can foil on cardstock. I've made quite a few different greeting cards using this method, and I also customized a beanie. Literally freezing. This is me all the time in Michigan. It's especially cold today, but there's an amazing amount of different materials that you can use the heat foil on, and I love the versatility. Today we are working on stickers. It's a little bit of a process that I went through, and we are going to cover that, but I wanted to go ahead and show you that these really did turn out nicely. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new around here, welcome. I'm Brenda Lambert. I'm a TJC licensed instructor for Silhouette. You found your way to Silhouette success, and I do hope that you're going to join our little community. We've always got some tips and tricks and tutorials, inspiration, that kind of thing going on, and we would love to have you as part of our group. Now there is a lot to go over today, so let's get started. I started this project off with a PNG from Creative Fabrica. This did come in a bundle, and I will link that in the description below. I also typed out Love You Bunches, and we are going to switch up the text and the color on this. So let's select the text and open up our textile panel. Now I used Bubble Shine for these letters, and when I enlarge this, you can see that there are little cutouts in each of the letters, and if you were to cut this out of vinyl, then these little spots would be holes. We're going to switch this up a little bit so that those little cutouts will actually be done in the heat foil. Before we start that though, I'm going to switch this over to a more suitable color. While it's selected, we can go up to our color fill panel at the top, grab the eyedropper, and just find a color that we like out of the design. That way you know it's going to coordinate well. Now, in order to separate these little cutouts, we're going to have to release the compound path. So let's right click, release the compound path, and now we need to ungroup everything. We will need to go back and select all of the letters and the insides of the letters. Don't forget your little dot for the exclamation point. Now we're going to right click on this and make a compound path out of all of those pieces. Now you can see that the letters are solid and our cutouts are left behind. I'm going to select all of those pieces, right click, and group them together. Now at this point, what I did was I switched up the line color on all of these because I want these to foil. So let's switch the line color up to blue, and I'm just going to put the inside color to a light gray. Now we can move this back up in place. We need to send the letters to the back though. Now all of these little bits and pieces are going to foil and just give the letters a nice little accent. We will be using the cut by line panel in the send page, so I'm going to go ahead and set my lettering to no color for the line, and I'm going to select my PNG and set that to no line color as well. Now let's select our accents and our letters, right click and group them together. We're going to go ahead and scale this down a bit. We want to bring in the PNG. We want that to slide right in behind there. And I think I'm going to scale this down just a little bit more. Now I do like the way that looks, but I think the lettering will pop a bit more if we put a white background around it. Let's go to our offset panel, select the letters, click on offset, and that is way too big. Let's double click on this and enter 0.025. Let's click on apply, right click and group that together and fill that in with white. I think that makes it pop just a little bit better. I am going to set the line color to no fill color because we're not going to want that to cut out either. We're just kind of trying to stay organized as we go through. Now let's select our PNG and our lettering, all of the pieces, right click and group it all together, and we're going to work on an offset again. This time we want the offset to go around all of the pieces, and I did do a trial run on this. This little piece right here did not really want to get in the offset unless it was really, really large. So I just chose to ignore this, and you might want to include that little dot. Once it's printed, you barely even notice it's there. Totally up to you, but I'm going to ignore that when we do our offset. Let's click on offset. I think that is going to look okay. I'm going to click on apply. And again, I really don't want this one in here. Let's just move that out of the way, right click and delete. Now we can move our design out of the way, and you can see that this is kind of a mess. We've got a little piece here and here and here that I don't really want in there. So let's release the compound path on this, select those pieces and just delete them. Now we have a more solid sticker, and I also like to go through and get rid of spaces like this and this and this. We can double click on the outline to bring up the editing points, and if you want you can simplify it, and I want to zoom in on some of these spaces here. I'm going to select the first editing point and just click on my backspace button until it gets rid of that little inset there. And now I'm just going to scroll through and find the rest of those spaces that can be eliminated. This is just going to give you a little bit smoother cut. It's going to take a little less time to cut, and your sticker is going to be not quite as flimsy. Let's fit this back to the window, and I think that looks pretty good. Now we can slide our design right back in there. I'm going to leave the offset line set to red, and we can take a look in the send page now. I clicked over to the line tab, and you can see that the elements that had no line color I have unchecked here. The blue is checked. This is the one that we're going to foil. That's all of these little accent pieces here. And the red is going to cut. I'm going to deselect the red for now. We're going to foil first. Once the foiling is done, we'll deselect the blue and select the red. So we're going to do this in two different stages, but you want to foil first and then cut. Let's go back to the design page now. We need to open up our page setup panel and go over to the registration marks tab, turn on the registration marks. Now this is quite large. Let's select all of our pieces, right click and group, and scale that down a bit. Once you have all of your stickers arranged on your page, the next step is to print. But I do want to say, when you are placing your stickers on your page, you want to be sure that you are going to be able to place the foil over the stickers without interfering with the hatched areas. These areas still have to be clear for the machine to read the marks properly. So let's go up to File and down to Print. Always check your print preview to make sure that everything looks good, and then send it to your printer. Okay, I lost some footage, but this is the way your page should look before you send it through the machine. You want the foil covering all of your areas that have to be foiled, but you want the foil out of the way of the hatched areas so that the machine can read the marks. You're going to send your page through, the machine is going to foil, and I just got in the habit of taking the foil off while it was still loaded in the machine. Since we're doing a print and cut, we could remove the mat, take the foil off, and run it back through because it's going to have the registration marks to cut the images out as well as it did for the foiling. So either way, with this project will work, but again, I just got in the habit of leaving it in the machine so that I know everything stays in the right place. If you're using the Cameo 5 or the Curio 2, you can have your auto blade in the first carriage and your heat foil tool in the second carriage. However, the Portrait 4 only has the one slot. So at this point, we're going to have to take out the heat foiling tool and replace it with the auto blade. When we go back to Silhouette Studio to send this through again, we need to be sure to uncheck the blue box and check the red box because now we want it to cut. I was going for a die cut with these stickers, so I had my settings set to sticker paper white with a blade depth of 5, force of 16, 2 passes, and a speed of 8. This did give me a nice clean cut. It came out beautifully. The heat foiling tool is probably one of my favorite tools that Silhouette has come out with because it is so versatile. If you do any projects with the heat foil pen, I'd love it if you tag me on your social media. It's at Silhouette Success on any of the platforms, and I really do love to see what you come up with. Don't forget to check out all of the other videos in this series. It's going to tell you everything you need to know about all of the Silhouette tools. Now go create something amazing, and I'll see you in the next video.